Hey, what's going on? In this video, I'm just going to kind of talk to you how to get better on an instrument, whether it be guitar, piano, anything like that. So usually, if you've seen any of my tutorials, and when I've taught my students, there's not a lot of talking. I think you learn a lot by just playing. So, but this one, I'm just going to focus in on talking to you about how to get better on an instrument. So, here's some things I've learned. One, if you want to get better, almost everyone that I know that's really good at guitar, piano, whatever, they have one instrument that is just like wrecked. At least one, you know? I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and on display was John Mayer's, I think it was like his first guitar. And this thing was just like, things were coming off of it. You know, it was just like, it was obviously played for just who knows how long. Who knows? You know, it's just kind of like, it was obviously he just kind of spent so much time with it. And it's not that he was taking horrible care of it, really. It's just that he used it so much. You know, it's kind of like, I have this acoustic guitar that, you know, it almost has a hole going through it. I've had to put wood patch in it a number of times just because the pick hit it just lightly 3 million times, and eventually that started wearing through, and eventually, you know, if I didn't put some stuff in it, it would have big holes in it. And it's not that I wasn't taking care of it. It's not that I don't, you know, try to take care of my instruments and do as much as I can for them. But I use my instruments so much. And that is one of the main keys. If you want to be really good, you just have to put the time in. You know, it's just really kind of put that kind of quality amount of time in where you almost have a wrecked instrument. Yeah, so all my kind of like wrecked instruments, they still play and everything, but it's just kind of they've seen some wear. Good. Next, my next thing that I could tell you, if you want to get good, guitar, piano, ukulele, whatever, is one, just deciding to get good. For me, it was like, for years I played, and I kind of started late. I started playing when I was like in my 20s. So I really thought that I wasn't ever going to be very good. So I played a lot, but I didn't necessarily try to get good. If something was kind of hard, I just kind of thought, that's pretty hard. I can't do that probably. There's people who started when they were 4 years old, and so I'll never be very good. Now when I kind of changed my mind on that, and I thought, you know what, I'll get good. So I started like going after things that were harder, and you know, for a while it's just like, if anything was in not standard tuning, I wouldn't even try it, because I thought, I don't feel like retuning my guitar. So I just started, when I changed my mind and thought, you know what, I'm just going to get good. I'm going to try to get good. You know, I started going after harder stuff and, you know, kind of challenging myself, songs that I wanted to learn for years that were just kind of out of my level. I really started putting more time into. And what with YouTube, you know, I'd go on YouTube and I'd try some hard song, and I'd get maybe 1 out of 5 of them. And they wouldn't even really totally sound like it. They'd just be kind of close. You know, as I kept on doing that, it went from being like, well, now I could get half of the songs that I tried that were hard, and then I could get pretty much all of them eventually, because I kept on going after the hard ones. You know, I'd look at some John Mayer stuff, so I'd look at some Dave Matthews stuff, and just different artists that I liked that had kind of a cool sound that weren't just kind of chunking away on chords, and I'd try it. And so that's number 2, just deciding to get good, and then kind of going after the direction that you want to go in music, whether it be piano, guitar, whatever. Next, find out what you really want to do, right? And for me, I haven't always known, but it's kind of like, I know which direction I want to go in. I don't just learn to learn, necessarily. Like, for me, I've tried to like jazz more than once, and it doesn't happen. It's some hard stuff. It's some really good stuff. And if you're into it, by all means, go for it, you know? But for me, it was just kind of like, I don't feel it. It doesn't do a thing for me. So I don't pursue learning to do jazz stuff, even though it's hard, even though I could learn tons and tons of stuff. I just go after the areas where I'm passionate about, what I really want to do. And sometimes I don't totally know. You know, for a while I thought, you know, what I really want to do is I want to learn a new instrument every year. So I'd continue on with the ones that I knew, and then I'd like pick out a different instrument. I'd be like, I'm gonna play a mandolin. You know, and that worked for a while. I started with piano, and then went to guitar, and then I think maybe the third instrument I tried was the mandolin, and it just wasn't there. I played for a while, and then I spent $300 on this mandolin, so I feel like I should play it, but I just didn't want to. I get it out and I play it for a little while, and I just be like, okay, well, I put in my time. There just wasn't a passion there to do it, so eventually I just gave it away. I kind of wish I had it still, because it would be fun to kind of have occasionally and just mess around with a little bit. But really, that's what I do in my musical journey. I find out where I really want to learn, and then that's where I learn. I don't learn just for learning's sake. What I'm currently into is kind of like, I want to know how to solo all over the guitar really well. Right now, it's kind of like when I'm soloing, there's about 2 or 3 spots on a guitar that I'll solo in, depending on what key I'm in. And I thought it would be cool to really know the whole neck of the guitar and be able to solo all the way up. So it takes time. You have to find stuff, and you have to really spend a lot of time with it and get comfortable with it. And but it's something that I enjoy. So it's not like, I'm laboring and I think I kind of want to do it. It's something I'm into, and so it makes it so much easier to do it. Last thing to get good at an instrument is don't stop learning. That's kind of an important thing. Where I've played with a lot of people in the past who are really good guitar players, really good piano players, whatever, and you can tell they like spent a lot of time playing back in the 1970s. They got really good. They learned their instrument in the 1970s, and when you're playing along with them, it all kind of sounds like 1970. It sounds old. It sounds hard. It sounds kind of complicated, but it's kind of like, that's not the greatest sound for every single song. It's great to, like, if you wanted to learn kind of like a 70s funk thing, but it's great to be able to kind of like be able to play in a modern way. And I've tried to stress that to my students. Don't stop learning. A lot of my students are 10 years old. I wouldn't want them to, if they're still playing when they're 30, to be playing like it's 2011. I want them to be able to kind of like be into new technology, different sounds on whether it's the guitar or different piano sounds. If they're using keyboards, different effects and stuff like that. And just styles change. And it's cool to be able to kind of sound how you want to, and you just kind of not play every song the exact same way, if that makes any sense. So it's just kind of keep on learning. Really, that's one of the things. And yeah, so those are some ideas on getting better at an instrument, and hope it helped. Those are some of my stories. I have many more, but I think I'll cut it for there. I hope it kind of helped. And yeah, I hope your instruments are going well, and I hope you enjoy them. So, all right, see you.